Hey everybody, Brad Linder back at you again. We're going to be doing the second part of this massive Godzilla piece. I'm going to be getting this done here today. Going to be penciling the rest of this out for this session, for this part, and over here. And then I'm going to ink it a little bit as we get going along so I can start framing it out and finishing it up. But I'm going to jump on real quick and share this over with the channel and page so we can get started and let everybody into this recording. So bear with me just a second. And there we go. Cool. All right. We're on the page and on the channel. So let that catch up. Now, I'm going to get right into this one. Where we were yesterday, or this morning rather, when I left off, I had Godzilla here. I'm going to move the camera up so you guys can see everything that we did up to that point and get some more light on that for you. But yeah, we got Godzilla there. Got everybody pointing out here. I'm going to stabilize the camera again because I shook it up. And I'm going to start pumping this out. I'm adjusting lights as I go because I moved stuff around a little bit earlier. But I'm going to start in on this forearm and kind of get these big, this big turtle skin section like the shoulder up here. It comes down off of this point right here and goes in with two big pieces right here that make the transition, okay? Then it comes down into that scaling like we saw on the upper arm. And it goes right together right there. So we got this going on and got these big soft shells, shell scales on the arm. And like I said, it's like the texture of a turtle leg, okay? That's pretty much what you're looking at there. And these sections go on a little awkward from the reference that I created this from, which was the new design. So we have that going on. Let's see here. Trying to run this ridge up this hand and going to get that knocked out. And then we're going to move right into these big orbital shell type knuckles. They're reptilian knuckles, but they're a little more bulbous and a little more rigid than your average human type of knuckle. They pleat a little more right here in the middle. And I mean, there's just a couple of hard lines because there's a segment rather than a joint. So it's not necessarily just skin over it. It's soft segments that go down the inside of this knuckle and make up 3 or 4 portions in here, depending on where it is, because it's a floating cap. And then we have this thing going down here into the next knuckle, which goes into the ball for the top of the basically the fingernail and the end joint, which is kind of weird too, because like I said, they give him that kind of flipper action going on. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one in so that I can get that edge of that finger overlaid properly. So I'm gonna cut those in. It almost looks like he's wearing finger caps the way they designed it, but it's not as true form fitting. I mean, these are big fingers. They're big, hard, calloused fingernail shells rather than fingers themselves, and they have these big joints at the bottom that come down hard like a claw. And you would see this almost in a turtle or a some kind of amphibian that digs. Turtles have them. I know certain lizards have them. That kind of thing. And they're big, hard nailed style talons that come out. And I thought that was an awkward design, but whatever, you know, over the years, this has been, like I said in the last one, this has been an evolutionary process to the extreme for this monster, because they put in just every kind of skin texture and content texture you can think of. It's almost, for lack of a better term, he could be on the X-Men because he's such a mutant himself. And it's not just a mutated lizard here. We're talking about all kinds of variations of species. And I'm outlining this real quick so that I can go back into this hand. And there is a purpose for that, so that I can have that lineup right here on the bottom and not jack up my design where the tendons would meet for coming into this process. And that's what I'm doing here. So bear with me on that. I'm going to put that soft palette finger right down in here like that, and the same thing over here, so they overlap, and then they're done. There, now we have that going on, and I can get back to this forearm over here because it's out of the way now. I'm going to kind of ridge this up though so we get the textures. Now I'm going to get back over to this section and get down to detailing this thing so we can really dig in and knock it out, because I don't want to spend 3 hours holding you guys up for this thing to finish. So, because we're already going to get about 2 or 3 hours out of it anyway, because I got 1 hour and 16 minutes out of it last night for yesterday's session, and I want to get this one inked up for you guys so we can see the finished piece, and then we're going to call it done and move on to the next one. And I might come back and color it later, but right now though I want to let it sit and just be for a little bit on this one. And see, like I said, those big turtle shell or turtle leg type of segments come in here very easily and get them finished out, get them fleshed out that way so we can move on with this one, because that's pretty much what we got here. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to go into this, I'm going to turn it this way so I can see what I'm doing here, because there is a section that goes along right here into the forearm, and again this makes these odd shapes and segments, but we have this one end right about here, and I'm just going to put a gap right there for that one shell, and then there's that muscle going underneath that where it transitions. Okay, so we have these going on, and it's going to be kind of like what was up on the arm, but they're going to be different scaled sizes, different variations and different cuts rather than just uniformed, because the reason they do that is because they're transitioning into the forearm where they're a little bigger and not as tight. So we're going to couple these up and cross them over into this layering here. And go from there. Just like that. Because that's the run over from the upper arm. And they get a little bit larger as they go down into the forearm, because they've got to move a little bit more with the bigger muscles on that arm rather than being small, tight, and bulbous, you know, rounded like that to protect the upper arm. And these are bigger so that they're more shield-like, like a chainmail, so that they can work for protecting defensively if he has to use his forearms. If they get bit or pinned or whatever, these shells can come off and protect him. So that would be the reason why they have that kind of design. And I've seen that in a couple of different species of turtle and armadillo and snake that do that. I haven't really seen it in fish that do that, but once they lose their scales, they will regenerate them over time. But normally it depends on the type of fish it is, because a lot of the smoother skinned fish that have lighter scales will end up just getting a scar, and the tissue will heal and the scales won't grow back. But it protected them that one point and that one time, where this one is a reptilian style that will grow back over and again and again and again. So just checking to make sure I'm on camera here. So and got all of this going on. I guess I caught everybody during prime time, so it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock my time. We've got crickets over here. It's just nothing, but that's okay though. That happens sometimes with these odd times when I jump on. We had an internet outage today for some reason. They were doing some upgrades or something, and they didn't warn us until like 5 minutes before they cut us off. And I was going to go live at 4 o'clock, but they cut it off at 4. So I was like, great. My normal time, and you're going to cut my internet off without telling me. The guy came up and walked up and said, we're going to be cutting your internet off for about a few hours, sir. We got to do some upgrades. Oh, lovely. Yeah, we've got a short in the system, and we've been reported out for an outage, and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, really? You got to do that now? Well, we can put it off, but your internet won't work. No, do your thing. And it's not just me that was out, though. It was the entire neighborhood for about 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. So it just came back up about 8:30 my time. So that was a little interesting. Now in this segment, I'm going to put kind of that turtle skin thing going on, that soft flex skin. And the reason I'm going to do that is because then I'm going to put a hard joint back here for that part. Like that. I'm going to turn this back around so we can see what's going on. And I think I want to work a little bit on this hand. Put in a few more of these ridges, because these are going to be the hard scaled dividing ridges, like his neck, like up here alongside of his neck. And I want them to have that ridge. And I don't want it to necessarily be the tendon, but I want it to represent the tendon on the outside and be there to protect him, you know? I like the idea of it coming across and protecting him, and giving him these protrusions or armored boost sections to where he can get weird things going on and, you know, fight or bite or scratch or dig, whatever he needs to do to win over the day. That's a big thing with this character, is him making it through the day. So just kind of making that happen. So we have those ridges there. And then I'm going to come in with the back side of the finger here, like that. Now I'm going to make this soft skin, like up here on his, up on his shoulder and on his collar going across. So we can get all of that going on. And I'm going to put this funky pad down here like that. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to go in and add in this fin style ridge right here. I'm going to put the fork in it right there, like that. So we can get that going. And there we go. Cool deal. Now we got that going. Okay. I want to put in this segment here for that knuckle. Remember, we got those hard sections in that shell-like bone to protect him. Now we got that going on. And put a little ridge right there. There we go. Cool deal. So put the gap in the wrist right there. Trying to loop this back around to thicken it up just a little bit without smoothing it out incredibly tight, because I don't want to have all of that weirdness going on with the shapes looking flat, because they get that whenever you don't have enough ridging for them to crest out of the design line for the outline. Got more of these awkward shaped turtle shell type of or turtle skin type of blocks going in. I'm putting them in kind of roughly here, and I want them to look that rough in this point because I haven't refined them yet. And I'm keeping this pretty sketchy until I ink it right down here to finish this up and keep it free flowing so it doesn't get too tight, because I don't want it to be perfectly clean, because then it won't look organic. Okay, now we got that going on. Now right here is where I'm going to make the transition underneath this hard ridge of the wrist and this transitional bone right here on the hand. This is where it's going to get cool, because I'm going to bring this in, and then I'll detail out this part, and then I'll wrap out the ribs and the chest, and then we will go over to the tines here, finish the spikes up, and then that'll be it. So then we'll be ready to start inking this bad boy in the next section and start possibly coloring it. But this is going to be pretty free flow. This is, like I said, that water effect. So we just kind of droop the lines in just a little bit, sway and flow, kind of stagger them off different ways. And that is the easiest way to make this type of skin. Think about it like a organic camouflage, okay? Because the more patterns that you have and it flows through, then the more organic it's going to look, because you have that flesh look coming off, but you have those breaks like the camouflage patterns we know for sporting and hunting and hiding and, you know, military and all that good stuff. And that's the reason why. And that's the reason for the purpose of the ridges as well. And breaking him up like this is probably one of the most complex skin textures I've ever done on a character across the board. Just universally, I mean, anything I've done yet, this is probably one of the most detailed characters, because I draw lichens and, you know, kaiju and pretty much everything, zombies, all that stuff. And I've never done as much detail on it as I have on this one piece, because of the fact of all the different combined textures. It's crazy. It is crazy. But it is a blast, though. Because like I said, I know of at least 5 reptiles that we've got on here that have all this going on in any combination or style. And we have to go in and put them in universally to make them match up as one beast with this character. So if you think this is an easy one, I challenge everybody, draw Godzilla at least once. I think everybody should draw the classics at least once, with Godzilla and with King Kong, because of the textures and things, and drawing an ape that scale. Even when you draw an ape, period, you know, you can draw just a regular ape for that. You don't have to draw a science fiction monster like that. But in this particular case, though, I recommend you do, because what ends up happening is you learn how to draw pretty much everything possible reptilian. I mean, once you draw Godzilla, especially in the modern incarnation, you can pretty much add in all these textures and you'll get it all right. I mean, there's elephant in here, there's rhino in here, there's armadillo in here, there's 4 or 5 different species of lizard in here. You know, it's crazy stuff. And I'm going to grab my marker here, my pad cover, so I don't mess this up, because I'm going to go in with this and draw in this rib cage, because this one is almost like the belly of a snake as well, in the regard that it has so much going on, because it goes right up to his pectoral muscles, this rib cage, and then it scales out like this in sections, okay, like that, and then it goes into the ribs like this and fans out from there. That's why this guy is so complex. It's crazy, crazy stuff. The anatomy is just bonkers. And that's a technical term, mind you. But anyway. Hey, Jim. You know, I haven't added that aspect yet. I was going to, but with the outage transfer and the time constraints, I'm just going to wait and frame this up tonight. When I finish, I want to finish this section with the stomach and the detail of the chest a little more, and then I'm going to go do these spikes over here to the side, and we're going to come back, and in the next session, I'm going to go ahead and frame it out off camera, and we'll start inking it in the next one so you guys can see it, and then we'll go from there, because then I'm going to add in the background. And in this one, I'm not going to black it out. I think I'm going to go about it. Jim and I were talking offline. He knows a little bit about what some of the ideas I was shooting around were, which was to have maybe a helicopter up here by his face, and then a couple of buildings burning, you know, down here in the sideline, and then frame this in a little bit so we can hold it all together where it's got an image to it. And I think that's the way I want to go with it. But anyway, this is going to be segmented. I'm going to get these sections going on. Just a little squiggle here and there. So, going to get that going. And then I'm going to segment these back like that. Like this. And just kind of make a little bit of a faux ridge on them to give them a little texture, because that's all we're after there. So we got that going on. And then I'm going to come in right across here, because I'm going to add a shadow line right there, a hard ridge for that, because I want those pectoral muscles to stand up just a little more. So there we go. And then we got that going across here. Comes down a little bit where we get some light from underneath the sternum there. And then we got everything going on. Boom, done. It's that simple. Well, because I'm going to color a lot of this, I don't want to monkey with that too hard, because then it ends up messing it up. Okay, I'm going to pop in a couple of small tines here. Let's see. There we go. Cool deal. And now we've got this great big one, but I'm going to finish these other couple off first so that they'll hold up. Got that one going on the edge there. Got that one going off. That one going off. That's going to be a big one right in the middle of the back. That's going to be a great big one back there. Now I'll go in and shade these up, knock some lines into them so we can get that going. And ta-da, yay. Okay. Now we got this line going on over here. Just kind of recapping what I did yesterday with the ridges and things like that. I'm just kind of going back, and tweaking some of that out a little bit. So we got that going on. Sorry about that. Somebody tried to call me. So, how rude. That happens sometimes. People don't know that I'm getting on. So, okay. Back at this again. Gonna cut these ridges in and go from there. So, now I'm gonna pop in 1 or 2 more of these, and then we're gonna go low, and I'll stay out of that. So we can get that done. Cool deal. All right. That is working so well. Now I want to erase this spot right here. I caught a page, I'm guessing, with caught the page with a little ink earlier, I'm thinking. I'm not sure. Could have done that yesterday. But anyway, there's a little speck of ink right there. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I had it from a previous page. This was in the stack and I didn't realize it. I don't know. Strange. But it'll be colored anyway because it's going to be colored purple or blue with the fire. But anyway, totally distracted me. But anyway, I will get this knocked out. And I'm going to do this tying here. Now that I've got that one going on, I've got one more to mark off. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump into this chest piece a little bit. And then we'll call it a day. So, how about that? Let me see here. Where do I want to start this? What I'm going to do is I'm very carefully going to come in. And like I said, I'm not one for doing feathering and cross hatching and gradation and all that because I just don't have a knack for it, as some people do. You know, Scott Williams made his career doing it. He's a great guy, and he is constantly around here in Oklahoma, you know, periodically. So he's got family back here and whatnot. So, and I've seen him a few times. He's a cool dude. He has a natural knack for this. I don't have the aptitude for it. So I use it in key points as detail like this and then get out of dodge because I don't want to mess it up. I don't stay away from or, you know, hinder myself with my weaknesses, but I don't go around, you know, chasing and challenging on pieces to experiment. That's something I do in training and practice every day later. You know, every morning and every evening I do a piece strictly for practice, and we'll stretch it out in that regard without messing with everything else. But anyway, I'm gonna get this going and get my big knuckles out of the way here so everybody can see this. And there we go. Cool deal. Now I got a couple more of these I'm going to knock out. And I'm trying to stay consistent and keep them close because I want them to look sunk in without having to add that big black ridge on one side, you know, to show the ledge, as it were. I don't like doing that. Even though I have a more animated style, I don't like doing that because then it makes it block out too much, and it makes it look cookie cutter or die cast kind of thing, you know. And I see a lot of people doing that way too often, and it really bothers me to see it because then it takes away from the piece, and it doesn't make it look organic like you would think it would look. So, but anyway, now we have that mapped out. I'm turning it sideways to make sure I didn't miss any, and I'm digging this, you guys. I am really digging this thing. I'm gonna try and put some highlight up here so we can see, but yeah, I really dig this piece. I'm happy with it. I think we've got a good one started. I'm gonna frame this out, and we'll go from there. But I'm gonna finish up by working on these nails just a little bit down here, these claws. Make sure they're still in panel so you guys can see. Hey Joe, glad you made it, man. I'm gonna go over here and knock these out just a little bit, and then I'm gonna call it a day. So I'm gonna try and keep these slick because I don't want to over detail them, because like I said, that whole cross hatching thing, then you get into a frenzy of it, and then it'll be everything's cross hatched and then nothing will look right, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna swoop in here, put a little bit of a mark just like that to refine this just a little bit, and there we go. Cool deal. Now got to ridge out one more here that I missed, and that is it, folks. We are done. Godzilla is set to be framed and inked, so we will start on that in the third and final session, and we'll ink him up. I'll get it laid out with the framework so we can get that going on. And like I said, I may pop in that background and you know, a helicopter or two and a building escape over here or something, and then put Godzilla down here at the bottom under his hand or something. I don't know how I'll do it yet, but we'll figure that out as we go along. I want to get the main piece done first so you guys can see it finished up, and then we'll go from there. But I will be finishing this one out, and it will be available. I am going to put this one up, I think. So anyway, as always, you know how it is with this great big world we've got. We've only got it for a limited amount of time for this great party we call life. And remember, while you're here, consider stockpiling for the next generation to let them party on too. Don't burn it all up without putting it back, you know what I mean? Don't pop all the party favors without putting out some more fireworks. So talk to you later.